Cosmic Rising. This is a Galactic Shaman on a Reiki journey. Now, I know you guys missed me. I continued journaling throughout the weekend, but I am recording this week, so I did not miss out on recording my content, but I am showing it now. So we have the 9th. The affirmation for that day is every situation answers a potential wish. 7:30, I woke up. I noticed I ignored the earlier alarms. I shut them off. So that right away was recognizing my physical body needed rest. Elam prepped a bath for me with my rose-infused Epsom salts, which, thank goodness, and if you've been following me, you know I'm working with that receptivity, that rose frequency for my specific astrological placements. I lit the candles, open circle, used my Hikotia rattle. So in black I have where I intentionally am calling on the self-Reiki. I recited Reiki principles with the affirmations. I did the hand positions of the chakras from crown to roots. My hands felt super warm. And let's see here. I had my beautiful bath. I reposted the Friday forecast. Spirit also showed me ideas about classes to provide at Divine Lights. The first class that came to mind was my Ascension into the Fifth Dimension class. I did this last year at a autumn convention and it went fabulous. Let's see here. Plus the Rainbow Warrior classes. So that's going to be something I'm going to trickle in this week and make it a point to provide them as physical classes again. Also, the sacral chakra crystals, they've been around the bathtub since Monday. So Monday through Friday, the bathroom has just been like straight up sacral chakra energy. Let's see here. I also lit the lavender and sage incense. 9:30, putting on my sacred clothing. I was on the phone with my mom and gained a lot of clarity about Mother's Day plans. Okay, so here's where the frequency began shifting. I changed the plans and I was asking about this plan change with my mother and she just wasn't responding. So I decided to call. Because at that moment, Elam and I work Saturday. So I was thinking driving out for only Sunday, we're going to be driving the majority of the time versus actually hanging out with each other. So I said, oh, that sounds terrible. Why not we do Saturday night as a pickup since we're already in Divine Lights and we're already in Minnesota. My mom's in Minnesota. And we can get her, come back, and then Sunday drive back again. So we're dividing the driving into 2 days versus 1, and we have more family time. Let's see here. Braided my hair. I did the kitchen magic. Fed the pups their chicken. Watered the plants. 10 o'clock, I was on the phone with my best friend. And this was so interesting. Another friend messaged me checking on my energy, and I thought that was fascinating because I was beginning to get stressed over the weekend plans about Mother's Day. And then I spilled my heart out about how I was feeling about the situation with my mother. And there was just something there was a past self and a lot of, how do I even put it? There was just a lot of tension between the schedule change between my brother coming over, just a lot of certain things that needed to be confronted. And one, my friends could energetically feel me and were assisting me. Two, around noon, I got into an ADHD autistic paralysis. And it was so hard to focus on one tab in my brain. And I have my planner, I have 2 calendars up on the wall, I have my Hobonichi, which is another style planner, I have 2 work binders that also have planners of like to the hour and backscaling to like the month. So I have all of these reminders. I have reminders on my phone, and all that kept popping up was all of the tabs, all of the reminders instead of one reminder of what to do. And it was very difficult. It felt enabling. It felt like I was unable to even begin one task. I knew all of the tasks that I was planning on accomplishing. And a lot of times in the past I've been called lazy, or I'm messy, or I don't pick up. That is a huge thing. My oldest sister would always say how messy or lazy I am, or the don't be lazy. And now that I've been late diagnosed with my neurodivergency, it was never I'm lazy, because now that I'm an adult, yes, things are not perfectly clean, but the reasoning of not cleaning was never due to me not wanting to clean home or having the motivation, and more of what do I focus on. And there's been a lot of relationships that would have been better if I had known I was neurodivergent sooner, and it would have alleviated the pressure that something was wrong with me. In turn, I would have had the skills to understand, oh, nothing's wrong with me, my brain is wired differently, and I need different tools to unstick me. So first, like right off the bat, is reminding myself that I am not lazy. There was a trigger in my schedule, a trigger in my nervous system, a trigger in the family dynamic that was occurring to cause this paralysis, this inability to even begin a task that I know these tasks were needed to be done. And I'm well aware, like, your brain is a portal, and my brain was overwhelmed with so much information at one time. So my priorities are gradually beginning to separate. Instead of all these open tabs, it was as if like tabs were just starting to be lowered. Like, okay, I'm not lazy in this moment. What tabs can just get out of the way, get off of my brain portal screen? And they gradually started loosening up. So that felt nice. My pup, Pono, he helped me get back on track. He is very good. I've had 3 really good dogs in my life that notice when I'm stuck in this neurodivergent paralysis. Pono, he unstuck me. No, he will start nudging me. He starts barking. He starts waking me up. So I have to focus in this moment, which helped me get out of the confusion of future planning, because it was causing anxiety that triggered the paralysis. I was stuck in being confused with my brother. So there have been a lot of verbal exchanges between him and I, and we're both very smart beings, and when you put 2 intelligent people together, it's difficult because our words become our swords. And there comes a point where someone begins saying things that don't match up with their actions. And what I was noticing is he has a lot of caring actions and some that aren't so caring, but the words weren't matching. And that just almost made my brain portal like overload. And it was just way overstimulating for me, and Pono was feeling it. So Pono began helping me snap out of that logical aspect of me trying to figure out, well, he's said these things in the past, but physically he's doing these things, so what am I supposed to go by? And then I needed to take a moment, do some breath work, and the next kind of phase is remembering body doubling is wonderful. The only issue with body doubling when you're in paralysis is you need another person to inadvertently work alongside. You need to be around someone else. And that can be difficult because I'm not around people all day. I work by myself. I have my boys, so my boys aren't going to be doing exactly what I need to do. But the next thing that was good for me is to change the environment. So having a new space, new energy to be around. So eventually, Pono was able to really get me up and physically out of that paralysis, and we went on our walk. After the walk, I felt grounded and secure enough to break down the task in my day. And I also set timers, so my phone will go off at different times that I need to accomplish something, so I don't remain stuck. If whatever I was stuck in, I get into that paralysis mode. Let's see here. And I believe it was so difficult because I do things at a regular time frame, which is more on that autistic side. So it was very challenging to begin a task that I know I do at a certain time at a different time. So then I need to focus and say, you know what, I know this task takes 30, 45, an hour, however long it takes. I'm just going to place it in this time chunk. So that was very helpful. It was still difficult to actually get me to do it though. So then it was super neat to feel how grounded walks. Just going on a walk, if you feel that paralysis, and having animals around, unless you're not an animal person, animals can sense that you are stuck in a different timeline. They just can. They have that beautiful intuition that's like, hey, wait a second, this soul isn't here right now, they are somewhere else. Let's help them get back to their present body, their present moment. And that's exactly what the pups did. So it was about 1 o'clock where I physically was actually on the walk with the pups. It was great because we took a completely different route. Even from the walk, I feel as though Spirit knew if I did my mundane, regular walk and I got home, I would have been just still stuck in that paralysis. And that is sometimes what happens. So we went up this huge hill. It doesn't even have a sidewalk. I got to see a beautiful butterfly. It looked like a monarch, but it was way too small to be a monarch. And going to the Science Museum, they have this butterfly display, and I found out that there are smaller version of butterflies that mimic the shades of a monarch butterfly, so predators won't get them. I thought that was really cool. Let's see, what else? 1:30 got home, so I've been attempting and making my walks longer than 15 minutes, and it's been very helpful, especially in this situation. Fed the boys their chicken. I then went into asking my higher self to appear separate from me so I could body double someone, which technically it's myself, but I need that assistance because I knew I needed to start taking care of the snakes and the tanks. I was also having a moment where when I do get that paralysis, my skin feels uncomfortable. I feel really uncomfortable with my skin. I can feel it like pinching and pulling, and it just is so uncomfortable. So I knew I needed some assistance spiritually, and it is also showing me that stress is leaving my body, because when I get that itchy skin feeling, I knew the adrenaline from getting out of that neurodivergent paralysis was really working. It was working in going around a new area and the pups helping me ground. I began seeing Everin come out. I also saw Etok. And then it was great because right away I could see them doing the snake tanks, like helping change their water and mist them, and I could begin body doubling with my higher self. What else? Oh, it was super great because as I got to the smaller snake tanks, they're up higher, so I need a bench to kind of reach them. I got the visual of like, don't give her a heart attack, don't scare her. And I'm like, scare me of what? And I'm thinking maybe it has something to do with the snake. I have no idea. Open the lid, a small spider jumps out. Well, small, it was like this big, and I like spiders, but it did alarm me to the point of I had to step back for a moment and then just realize that my higher self was warning me. I typically do not get premonitions like that. My premonitions are more I feel something or see something. This premonition was I heard it. So that was really neat. And now I'm aware of how my natural abilities are developing. Let's see. I did attempt to take the spider out of the tank with a long paper tube because obviously I was scared of my hands. But I could not find it because it's brown and a lot of the tank is brown and green, so clearly it was burrowing in somewhere. We have been checking the tank. I haven't been able to find it. I'm wondering if it passed away, but the tanks are due for a full tank clean out, so excuse me. Let's see here. 2 o'clock, I put on this music vibration that also had aquamarine crystal energy, which working on my throat chakra, definitely huge. I'm also been wearing a lot of blue. Did my yoga sun salutation and began chanting. 2:20, I had my matcha in orange. And I smiled for the first time that day around 2:20. I didn't write what I smiled at, but I think remembering back to that moment, I believe it was a smile that I didn't know how this intermittent fasting would work, and then I found myself realizing around 2 o'clock is when I begin getting hungry. So that was neat. Began my tips for May. I noticed I needed my Hobonichi binder. So my Hobo and my Hono have their Japanese style calendars, and that's where I record the planetary transitions and celestial events. So I needed that, and I also needed my book that I wrote. and my laptop to begin the cosmic tips for May. Got all those things because in my book for my cosmic tips, I write out a cute, simple technique that is referenced in your Cosmic Chakra Guidebook, the book I wrote. I know, I'm going to make you sick saying that so many times. But I realized I forgot to do all of the cosmic tips for May. So I believe I got around to doing the one that was most recent. I did not get to do the ones farther out, which I'm spreading out this week. 3 o'clock, I planned and created add-ons. I'm so stoked for this. So I added on quantum palmistry scans and galactic astrology glimpses. The palmistry, I've been doing palmistry for, 5 years. Professionally, I've been doing it for 5 years, and I do 2 different versions, so like a westernized version and an easternized version. Pretty much the difference has to do with the lines and looking more at the physique, so like the physical features versus looking at the elements, and then the planetary transits, so like the planetary positions, the zodiac positions, and some of them change around, and it's really fun to see what's going on with people's hands. I have a few clients that I do check their hands monthly, and you can tell when they're working on something and you can tell when they're not working on something. And one of the palms shows, okay, well, this is the direction you should be going in. And it's just really fun to have like a little map literally at your palms. But the scan, this is an add-on for services I already offer, just because I noticed my pricing versus the service, the astrology glimpse and the palmistry scan, that does not take a lot of energy out of me. So I enjoy charging by the type of energy I'm using. And these are going to be add-ons. So when someone books a chakra clearing, a shamanic journey, a full-on astrology chart reading, what else? I feel like I'm missing another thing that I provide. Starseed channeling. So those are some of my major services and sessions. When someone gets those, they have the opportunity to add on palmistry or a astrology glimpse. So the astrology glimpse is literally comparing your Western or Eastern chart, it's not doing both, to the week, which I've already tried, and it is so much fun. And it's something I kind of naturally just word vomit on people anyways. When someone is saying, I'm feeling this and this, immediately I know exactly what planets are interacting with their chart, and it's really fun to see how it just naturally works in the real world. And I really love the way the ad looks. I really like how the ad looks. I'm excited to embrace my qualities in new ways, just because I used to offer those services as a full service, but there was a part of me that knew like, this doesn't utilize a lot of my energy, and I don't feel it to be fair to offer it as a full service. So in add-ons, super stoked. Made salmon. I made a salmon sandwich. Oh my goodness, that was so good. I put olive oil on the bread, put this raw milk Irish cheese on it, had the spring mix, did the mayo sriracha drizzle, and I also made one for Bobby, for Elam. He FaceTimed me while he was on his way home. Let's see here. He told me he paid for the rest of the softball gear for Sunset. That had a huge relief because I know I mentioned we could pay for it one day and then we weren't able to. So, happy about that. I felt super sad because Bobby's voice was like super scratchy to the point that like he could barely speak. And I know Mercury is going in transit on Saturday. That's literally what I was writing about earlier. So he doesn't have any Taurus placements. He did have placements in the previous Mercury placement. So he was having a difficult time. You could literally like see the Mercury energy unplugging from his throat chakra, and there's nowhere else to plug in because he doesn't have Taurus placement. So he quite literally like was losing his voice. The Mercury going into Taurus, for Earth placements in your Cosmic Chakra Guidebook, I do have a small description and then a crystal, just because earthly items, minerals, and it is turquoise. And I was wearing my turquoise and obsidian bracelet. I actually won this bracelet from a friend's shop. It was so much fun. I love her jewelry, but this, I'm wearing it again because I'm continuing. I have Taurus. Oh, I just clicked something. I have Taurus in my Vedic chart for a past life, so this makes sense why a lot of past lives or past timelines are coming up for me. But here's the beautiful Taurus faceted bead, and then there's some obsidian beads, and this is a decorative bead, but I love this, especially around this season. Yes. At 4:22, Reiki thought of the day. Your intuition is a trusted guide. As upset as I was about my brother and the past, I knew I needed to speak my truth with my mother, but my intuition felt like a plan that compromised a lot of my spiritual growth. So, later on in the day, my past self was really getting in the way and just like, you know what, we should just do Mother's Day next Saturday because I do not want to overexert myself. But spirit was my intuition was like, no, your brother needs to come, and there are lessons to be learned. There are things to be really pushed through. And it was interesting because like my mother helped me in that moment understand forgiveness, and she assisted me and really showed me how I could make a decision where it would be trusting my intuition and not compromising my growth. And I realized my intuition is stronger than my past self. My intuition was greater. I won't spoil it, so the next video I will describe if my intuition was the right way to go. But at that moment, we were like, you know what? He's invited over. You're invited over. We'll get you guys after Saturday work because this is from Friday, and it'll be gravy. I'm like, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. And I was more concerned that my past self was going to literally reach through this body and show all the hurt and pain and confusion that I was experiencing while I was in that paralysis. So it was interesting because that paralysis almost helped me reboot. It also showed me where my nervous system is at, and that's going to be a focus on for next week. So yeah, if you are wanting to only listen about the Reiki, check out my TikTok, Galactic Wisdom Way Shower, on TikTok. I appreciate you following my story. I love you so much. If you are someone that has neurodivergent moments of autistic ADHD meltdowns and paralysis, know that there is nothing wrong with you, and be aware that you do have options of reclaiming your power and getting back to your timeline. Having animals around that know you well enough to bring you back to that timeline is wonderful. Moving around, going to a new area. It sounds funny because normally it does ring an alarm when I'm in a new environment, but when you're in that state of stillness and overstimulation, being in a brand new environment allows you to come back online and observe the new things. Body doubling is another thing. Having a timed schedule to do something that you typically do around that time is beautiful. So there are ways, and I love assisting and sharing, one, what continues to happen in my life, and two, that you can live an unmasked neurodivergent life and grow and be ascended. I love you guys so much, and there is something kind of hilarious. My father does this a lot. He knows the work that I do, the life coaching I provide, the quantum and shamanic healing that I offer, and that a large portion of my clients are neurodivergent. And there was something about where he was like, so you just don't ever have any issues anymore because you know how to handle them. And I'm like, that is far from the truth. But I have them, and now I have tools in my toolbox. Now I have something to offer, and I don't have to pretend that I'm okay. I don't have to pick up a mask and say, you know what, oh gosh, I am just lazy. I should have just done A, B, and C, when that is not true. So love yourself and follow that intuition. I'm super stoked to share with you about how it went. Mwah. My name is Evan Ryu. I'm a Galactic Shaman at Cosmic Energy and Spiritual Wellness. I always point up here because my TikTok has the website. The website isn't up here. I believe it'll be in the description. Love you guys.